Let's talk baseball. We're 12 minutes in. It's time to talk baseball. Might as well do a quick sound check while we're at it.
I love that you brought this up. That'll eliminate the comments of being like, it took 12 minutes for you guys to even talk anything.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the walk-off. Final comment of the day comes from our Patreon. So patreon.com/the walk-off podcast. You don't really get many perks, to be honest, but it's a good way to support the show. And you do get priority comments for the mailbag, priority questions for our guests. All right, enough Patreon promotion. Let's get to this comment from Matt Finley. Matt Finley, by the way, submitted a new logo design last week. Very cool, Matt.
Yes, big tip of the hat, Matt. Thank you again.
Yeah, we're going to talk some more with Matt about that in the coming weeks here. But no, very,
as
very
we work to get
Matt.
Our website up.
Yes.
It's coming, though.
It's coming. Lots of stuff in the works, so appreciate that. Anyways, Matt Finley says, hey, gents, question for the mailbag. How much do you think Atkins, Shapiro are dedicated to riding and dying with this core? As a Leafs fan, in brackets, I don't want to talk about it. Fair. I've seen firsthand how stubbornness from the front office can lead to consistent mediocrity. Would not want Atkins making the same mistake and being too attached to the core that he is not willing to break them up to better this team. And that's a great point for Matt. What are your thoughts on that, Scott?
It's a really interesting question, too. I'd love to hear your take on this, Adam. Personally, I feel like Atkins does have the, for lack of a better term, intestinal fortitude to make these tough decisions. We've seen him make some bold moves in the past, right? Going out and trading Austin Martin, who was the number 1 prospect, and Simeon Woods-Richardson, who was the number 3 prospect in the Blue Jays system. Very rarely do you see top 10 prospects moved, let alone 2 top 5s. Then he doubled down on that, signed Jose Barrios for a long-term contract. These are bold moves. Going out and getting Kevin Gausman, 5 years, $120 million. Or sorry, I think it was 110. Nonetheless, bold move. Spending $150 million on George Springer. Bold move. Now, what we haven't seen yet is him trade from a position of strength within the lineup to bolster positions of need in the lineup. And that is a really good question by Matt. This is the offseason we need to see this from this front office.
Yeah, I mean, this is the core that Atkins has assembled.
Good core.
It takes real, intestinal fortitude. I don't know. There's a little bit of an ego check required to look yourself in the mirror and go, this is good, not great.
Mm-hmm.
Am I willing to risk making this less than good in an attempt at finding great? And this is something that I'm sure you can relate to as a stand-up comedian. It's something I find myself really forcing myself to confront on a regular basis when I do come up with a new bit or a new joke and I'm working it through. And I get it to a point where it's a 7 or an 8 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
And I go,
works,
this is good. It consistently, everywhere I go, it works. You know, it never falls on deaf ears. I figured it out, but it's not my closer. It's not my best, right? And it does take some real discomfort to say, I'm going to tweak it again. And it might become a 5 and it might become a 3, but I'm going to keep tweaking it because I know it could be a 9 or a 10, right? And that's kind of the same situation where we're at right now with this core, where like this core is good, not great, right? And to do a shakeup and to recognize that is tough.
Works out, right?
No, absolutely not, right? So sometimes you just got to go pedal to the metal and ride that outside wall and overpass 5 cars on your way to the championship series. There, we brought it all full circle. It's a NASCAR episode. We did it. We did it, Scott.
I mean, Jays fans that are our age, Adam, not you youngins, not you kiddies, but anyone with a little bit of length to their teeth, if you will, long in the tooth, will remember the major trade that brought in Alomar and Carter and shook up the core of that Blue Jays back in the early 90s. And I think that worked out so well, it's really easy for us to go shake it up, do that again. But there's a long list of teams who have done moves like that where there aren't then 2 World Series.
It's just 5 years of darkness.
Yes.
It's like, oh, we're not even close anymore. Like, we are effed.
I mean, not to bring up hockey again, but I mean, you're Montreal Canadiens fans. You've dealt with it. I'm a Calgary Flames fan. I've seen those dark days. We don't even need to bring up Leafs fans. They know.
Leafs fans know. Absolutely. We missed a comment right off the start, but it kind of ties into this. So I want to circle back to this one and we'll end on this. So this one comes in from John Cho on our Clips channel. Actually, we do have a second channel. So a reminder, we are approaching 100 subscribers over there. So that's rapidly growing. I know 100 doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a big milestone. So we're at 70. So if you come across this, maybe you're watching this as a clip on the Clips channel, please subscribe and
and if you're one of the 3,500 people subscribed to our regular channel, it would be very helpful if you do head over to the Clip channel. Just hit that subscribe button.
Big time. Okay, so this one from John Cho says the Jays didn't lock up Marcus Semien. Now this isn't a comment about our conversation on should the Jays sign Matt Chapman to an extension, right? Big term deal. So John says, the Jays didn't lock up Marcus Semien, and I'm glad they didn't. Call me crazy, but I think they would be more than fine with Santiago Espinal at third. He was solid defensively and won't cost as much. They need pitching, in capital letters.
So first of all, John, thank you so much for your comment. Well thought out. He makes a good point. I love Espy. I think a lot of us Jays fans do. Very competent infielder, to say the least. Defensive prowess is probably his biggest strength. But he also is, an average hitter out there as well. Not a lot of power, but he gets on base, and he runs the bases well on top of that, which, there's not a ton of guys on this team that are known for their base running prowess, and Espinal doesn't run into outs, which is always, a nice thing to see. My only deference from what John is saying is that screw the money. I mean, we went over this on Friday. If you look at the top 5 teams when it comes to payroll, all of them were in the playoffs, and Philly is still there. Yeah, the Astros are a little bit less, but I think even the Astros are like number 7 or 8 on payroll on the list. Like even they spent $180 million or whatever it is. I think the Jays need, if you look at that 92-93 team, the Jays were the highest paid franchise in Major League Baseball at the time. There is a correlation between winning and spending. Absolutely there is. And I think that this is the year for them to actually go out and be like, you know what, we're a $220 million team. Rogers is not some penny-pinching budget, small market franchise. And I think it would be beneficial for us fans to stop viewing it that way, because this is the rhetoric we've been fed our entire lives. Oh, the money. We can't be spending the money. Rogers is a billion-dollar corporation running a billion-dollar team. And there is no reason in this window that we're seeing right now, a playoff window, for a franchise that has only made the playoffs 9 times since their inception in 1977. I think it's time to go all in, push the chips in. Now, is John right? Yes, Espy is definitely a very affordable option, and you're going to need those on this team.
Yep.
But third base, we watched it in 2021. Isn't third base an important position? Is
Well,
third base one you should just
that's
be
all I could think
flipping
about
through?
reading this
Yeah.
comment was like, yeah, having Kevin Biggio play third base was so painful. Like Espinal's good, not great. And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Yes. But
Like,
that's the thing, right? Is if we just play out Matt Chapman for 2023 with the plan of moving 28-year-old Santiago Espinal to third base for 2024, I personally think it is a mistake. Now, pitching all capital letters, like, yeah, I'm aware, right? Like, obviously, this team, I'm not, when I say all these things, I hope no one's taking it as me being like, no, spend our money at third base and ignore pitching. That's not what I mean. I mean,
yeah.
let's frickin' add $50 million to this payroll and go get everybody.
Well, and this is the where you started with this comment about like the Blue Jays are not a team that are in a position to only go solve one problem. If that was the case, I would say yes, let's prioritize pitching. If we could only afford one big move this offseason, yeah, I would like to prioritize pitching. Sure, I would see you there. But it's not. That's not the case. We have more than one hole, and we have the ability to fill it.
Yes.
We need to do that. Like, Espinal at third base is a bad tacos relief valve. Like, it is a, oh crap, Matt Chapman had a baby and fell down the stairs while carrying it situation.
Yeah.
Right? Like, well, good thing we have Espinal who can cover for 30 games.
Exactly.
Amazing. Love it. That's great. That's what you need on a championship team is very competent depth.
Yes.
Right? But that is not a recipe for success to go into a situation where you go, well, Kevin Biggio can be our starting left fielder.
I mean, yeah, he could.
Could be, but
Right?
That's not how you want to start the year.
And I'm not taking this as a knock on John's comment, by the way. In fact, you know what? If this comment was directed at, let's say, the Cincinnati Reds, I would be 100% in agreement. Where, yeah, some organizations need to take a step back and look at their needs and prioritize, and you're probably only going to be able to afford to address one of these needs.
If you're the Milwaukee
Toronto Blue
Brewers
Jays are
and you
not
have
that
to
team.
trade Josh Hader at the deadline because
Yeah.
you know you can't
Well,
re-sign
you're
him
in the playoffs.
and you have an opportunity to get some stuff back, you have to make those tough decisions. We are not that team. And I know probably from watching the Blue Jays over the past 15 years, we feel like that team at times.
Yeah.
But I really
We're
think
going to
this
see.
offseason, Scott, we're going to see two surprising signings.
Yes.
I don't even know what that means because it's a surprise.
Yes.
And two decently sized trades. So a combination of four transactions that's going to fill and really bolster this team. I don't know if any of them are going to work out. We spent a lot of money on Yusei Kikuchi. Hey, by the way, Yusei Kikuchi spotted at a Toronto Maple Leafs game over the weekend. Did you see? Guess I'll give you $100 that I will have to borrow from my wife, but I will give you $100 if you can guess the jersey he was wearing. Yusei Kikuchi at a Leafs game. What jersey was he wearing? He was wearing an NHL jersey. You tell me which one.
Was it a Leafs jersey?
It was not a Leafs jersey.
Oh.
That's the catch.
I don't know.
Okay,
Just tell me.
It was a Ducks jersey. The Ducks were in town, and he was wearing a Ducks jersey.
Hilarious.
What? Like, even if you're a Ducks fan, that just is like, doesn't look good.
What was there a name on the back?
Oh,
Was he,
I didn't
like,
see.
Paul
No,
Correa or something like
Paul Correa, greatest Mighty Duck of all time. I grew up a Ducks fan. Can I tell you that? I don't know if it was because of the
You're
movies or
allowed.
not, but
Yeah.
I loved all the teams that had like animals. Like I loved the Sharks. I loved the Panthers. I loved the Ducks. I was a kid.
I loved the Ducks logo, and I was a Mighty Ducks fan. of the movie. And then I loved the Sharks and Panthers logos. I was always a Flames fan.
That shark chomping the hockey stick?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
elite
Like,
sports
so
logo
cool,
design.
Yeah.
Matt Finley, can you make
Panther
us a
running,
logo that rivals the Sharks quality
Yeah.
of logo? Maybe just Scott chomping through a baseball bat. That's what we want.
Yeah.
All right. This episode has gone off the rails. Let's wrap it up here, Scott.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate all of you within the walk-off community. This thing continues to grow and become an animal of its own. It's a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, we love talking Blue Jays baseball and all the interaction that you folks are involved with us. Thank you so much. Discord, feel free to join it. That is always free. The show, or the link is in the show notes. You can follow us on Twitter at Walk Off Podcast, on Instagram, the Walk Off Podcast. And if you are watching on YouTube currently and you're not subscribed, we'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. All the best, everybody. Cheers.